Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to, what is this, episode 157, I think, of DevChatter on this nice Saturday afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I hope you're having a great day. So welcome, everyone. Glad to see some people coming into chat. And hello, greetings. We are going to be doing some coding again today. A little bit of wrapping up one of our existing projects. I'm not sure if we're going to totally wrap it up, but I do want to work on it a little bit. When was this? We started a web project, an ASP.NET Core web project here on the stream, month ago probably, if I had to guess. Probably about a month ago, actually, is really when we started working on it. And we did a couple of side things, holidays, so hopefully everybody had a pretty nice, however many holidays you had. And Happy New Year, welcome to 2019. We are going to be doing a little bit of code, so I'm hoping you guys are all ready for that. Everyone here is ready for that. We've got some interesting things planned for 2019. We're going to be doing some new projects. There are a lot of things that I mentioned to people, hey, we're going to start those in 2019 because I wanted to make sure that I got a number of our things wrapped up or into a pretty good place before we moved on, which we did with a few of our projects. So this one, for anyone that was not here for this is our Dev Streams project. As I said, it's ASP.NET Core, and in it, we are building a web application that's supposed to be not huge, so manageable for like people to just see and understand how it's set up and to sort of get the structure. But it also serves a purpose for our developer community here, live streaming on the internet. And essentially what we wanted to build was a place for people to put their schedules. So essentially a calendar that is of mostly recurring events. So for now we're starting off just with recurring events, and what we're doing with them is we want developers to be able to say, here are the days that I normally stream. So for example, if I take a look at the DevChatter Schedule, this is the schedule of the stream normally. I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at those times. And now, we had John Skeet on the program back when we started working on this to make sure that we were going to store all of our date times the way we needed to. So we brought him on. He's an expert in time zones, and he made some really important suggestions which I think are key. So we store all of our times as a day of the week, the start time, the end time, and those are local times. So these are local points in time. So this is, that hour is supposed to happen at some point in the future for this person. So whenever 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. exist within the America-New York time zone, that's when these events are supposed to occur. So these are not events for a specific day. These are intended events for the future. So what we need to do, and this is the big step, this is where we are in the project right now, we are creating these. But what we need to do is we need to create, I believe we called them sessions, essentially instances of this happening in the future. So if we have 52 weeks in a year, we want to have 52 events created for each one of these, so we could have a year out planned for this. Now, my intention, at least for now, is to just hard code it to a year. We'll figure out more complexity after that later. So the idea is anyone that's using our software can look at the calendar going forward, roughly speaking, a year. We probably don't really need that much. Maybe we only really need to look forward like, say, 8 weeks or something. But I figure a year even lets people schedule special events and things like that if they want to schedule one of those in the future. So that'd be non-recurring events. So I think that'll take care of that. And welcome everyone. Hopefully this all makes sense. Okay, so I did a little bit of housework before we started. We were running into a couple of problems. I just hit the reset button because we're still in development, and so we can do that, so I don't need to go through the complexity of actually cleaning everything up. So I hit a couple of reset buttons, and we're in pretty good shape right now. And this should be, yep, blank slate master branch. We'll create a new branch once we get a name for it. And let's go ahead and take a look at the code. Okay, so first things first. I want to talk about the data model for anyone that wasn't here. We have the concept, we're calling it a channel right now, which I know is a very Twitch term, but I think, and it's YouTube also, I don't know if all the platforms for streaming call it a channel, but I think a channel makes sense. So we're going to have a channel. The channel itself is going to have a name and a URI so that people can go to the channel if they want to view it from there. So when we display a calendar of what's happening today or in the future, you can click through to get to it. The channel is going to have a default country code and time zone. And the reason we have this, the time zone ID is the important one. This is what lets us know when their streams are happening. This lets us say, hey, yeah, that stream, it's happening in America, New York time zone. And the country code is more just a convenience for us as the developers, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I go to create a new item, what I'm able to do is I automatically have the time zone selected. We're currently not letting them change, so the default's going to be forced. Whatever your time zone is, put everything in that time zone, but in the future we'll allow them to potentially change this if they want. Probably we'll make it that it's not just a drop down, but like show a little button or something so that they're aware that you don't normally want to change the time zone. It's normally just going to be set. But if I go and hang on, I go back here. If I edit this, I want to be able to select the country code automatically, which is what we're not doing yet. But that's why we need the country code stored, is so that we could. And then I can choose Eastern Time, New York. And so this lets me redo this in case I need to go there and save. Okay, so that's why we're storing country code, even though we don't really display it on this page. We could, but it's not totally necessary. Okay, I mentioned I want to do a little bit of house cleaning, so let's go ahead and knock that out first. So we're gonna, which gives me the chance to show you guys the structure, show everyone the structure for this. So first things first, I have a folder called streams here. That's going to be wrong, because I originally called this streams or something along those lines. That's a bad name for it. This should be channel. So I am going to change that folder to channel. Channel. There we go. So that is going to have some significant ramifications because I just moved all those files. So now when we see this, hey Crimson, and you will notice that I did a whole bunch of moves. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to commit moves and renames separately so that I don't end up with essentially places where it looks like I changed a lot of things or created and deleted files. I like it to know that this was a move or a rename. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that by going in here, and I'm going to make a new branch. We're going to call this, what are we doing? We are fixing up the names of this. So we're fixing up the structure. So this is our, fix up, no, this is, rename, fix old naming. Sure. And again, that's just a name of a branch. It's a relic in GitHub, so it's not hugely important that that name be perfect, but it's good to get it reasonably good. Hey, Twitchloff, welcome. Thanks for that lurk. Hopefully you're in the background still listening, because it'll be good stuff. Okay, so Channel stream. So that's the quick move. I need to make sure that that actually happens right. So let's do the file move first. So I'm going to call this whip move files. Hey, Will, welcome. And the reason I made it whip is that I want to be clear, just in case someone ever grabs that commit, that they know that one's not totally there. It's not a stable piece. No one's going to think that's stable because I called it work in progress. Okay, next thing I need to do is I need to go over here to the layout, and I have this thing I called streams. I need to call it, channel index. And for now I'm going to call it channels. It's probably going to be like manage channels. We're going to put it somewhere else. I just want there to be a link to that page so it's convenient. Essentially that is this. If you're on the home page, I want to make sure that there is a channels button that you can click on to get pulled in here. And that's the change. And actually, thinking about it, I think this should have actually been on the previous commit. So I'm going to put it on the previous commit. So we're just going to go ahead and say, we're going to go ahead and add that. What's the current status? And I apologize for switching to command line. I try not to use the command line too much when we're on the stream. I know that we can teach people a lot of command line stuff this way, but most developers, I think, are going to want to use Git using some kind of a GUI, and I think that's a reasonable way to go, so I try to show most things with the GUI. Okay, so, whoops, git commit, mend, no edits. We have that in there, so that should work. Okay. Which means that that change was now just this. Okay, cool. Great. Okay. So fixed. So that has been renamed, that adjustment. Now let's get all of the namespaces and everything else right. So this is going to be the big one. So a lot of people may not realize how weird this got with pages. So you'll see that this has the namespace right here defined, but if you take a look in the CSHTML file and the Razor file, you'll see that it usually has the namespace here when defining the model. Now this is important because we use the index model so frequently. So it's kind of strange that because we did this page approach, there are going to be so many index models, which I'm not totally... I like the page structure. This is the one piece that annoys me, is that when we do CRUD operations and things like that, or the index, we end up with a lot of duplicately named model classes, which gets a little weird. But either way, I can go ahead and I think I'm just going to do a big old find replace on that. Streams, and replace it with channel. And I'm going to just go ahead and do a replace all. And I feel pretty safe doing that because everything is in source control. If it were not for source control, I would be terrified to make that kind of a change. And it should have gotten everything, and I'm just going to check through. Just make sure that... Just check it one more time. Okay, that looks okay. I don't see anything crazy in there. Let me go ahead and just close everything. We're going to try rebuilding. So, channels and namespace, but is used like a type. Ooh. Core model channel. Oh, because I created a channel object and I made the channels type. Okay, and then these didn't get the dots. Okay, so this needs to get replaced. With that, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Oh, I did it only for this file. Derp! Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this namespace right here, using that to be, whoops, to be channels, the entire solution. Yes, go ahead and do it. So that should get me all the occurrences of that. Okay. Now here's the problem. Even with that being called channels, oh, because there's still a couple of namespaces that are still channel. Okay, so let's say channel dot. I'm gonna do a replace, and we're gonna make it channels dot replace all. Yes, go ahead and do it. There we go. There's the 15 occurrences again. And let's take a look here in this. Okay, so streams because channels. Those, I shouldn't have resorted those, but I did. So I'm going to undo the change there, which I think is going to make it a little bit cleaner, easier to figure out what's going on. Okay, so that's all through those. Let's undo this one real fast, because we're gonna redo that one. So this is going to become channels. And yes, we're going to fix the compiler error in a moment. I just needed to not remove and sort my usings. That one, I'm going to call that okay. Okay. Okay, it's looking for streams somewhere. What reference streams? Just gonna look in the solution for streams. Maybe dot streams. Whoops. Dot streams should get us only namespaces where a section was streams. Nothing. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna clean the solution. I'm thinking we've got a remnant of something sitting around somewhere that isn't dying. Would be my guess. Create CSHTML in which one? Which one? Schedule create. Okay. This one is apparently referencing it. Streams.schedules right there. That's why. That's interesting how it wasn't able to get me to that file. I do wonder what that was about. I don't even think we needed that line, interestingly. Because I think our model having that type is enough. Okay. Now I'm going to move these files again in a moment, because I didn't quite get them in the right spot. But I do want this change in there before we do that. So, and I am going to put these all together, and then I'm going to check everything in a moment. So this is change all namespaces, and yeah, we're going to commit that. So that's changing the namespaces, and then the last thing I'm going to do is this. Oops, actually, before I do that, let me find out why is this red. Channels, what's it want to put it in? Oh, it wants to put it in channel. Okay, that's fine. Of course it does. Because it thinks the naming's wrong, because I need to adjust this folder. Hey Simon, welcome. We're doing a quick change here, just to get this code, let's see, moving, channel, let's see, moving, channel, folder to channels. We're doing a little bit of cleanup on our dev streams project, and then once we get all of that in place, yeah, we're just doing a quick rename switcheroo, and then we're going to start adding in the new features. So just a couple more changes, and we should be good. But I think that will get everything. Let me just confirm that these are good. Checking the pages, they seem okay. Wait, which one just went red? This one went red. Why? Why'd you go red? It shouldn't be red. Okay, well, we'll see. Yep, they're only red when we're in them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and push that change. I think that's good enough. So I mentioned to all of you that what we wanted to do, once we got this in place, we want to make it so that our schedule... Actually, is this running? Is the site running? Yes, it is. Oh, cool. Okay, so we want to make it so that this web page, when you create a new stream, so for example, I'm not going to do this stream. Whoops, that page wasn't really running. Or maybe my maybe my rebuild broke everything. I don't know. Either way, let's head over to. Oh, right, no. The URLs were wrong. Ooh, see, it doesn't like channels because I renamed it. Derp. So let's go over here. This is channels. So notice this is a big learning moment for everyone, because I do want to explain how this works, because this is very different. So if you are new to the way that Razor works, and specifically how ASP.NET Core, all the newest stuff handles these things, my anchor tag here is not to a URL. This is not a standard href here. This is an ASP page tag. So essentially what I have said is I have told it, hey, ASP.NET Core, when you're making this page, come in here and find a page that is in this location in my folder structure. And that's what we're linking to. So I basically told it, hey, get this page. I didn't say, hey, find this URL, because that URL might not exist, for example, because I did this, right? I did channel, and it said, oh, I don't have one called channel. And so that means that this link went to just base localhost. It didn't actually go anywhere because it didn't know what to do with the link. So just a point of clarification there. In fact, I cannot remove the word index here. Okay? I actually have to have the word index, and the reason why is that the page is called index. So just wanted a little bit of clarity there for anyone that's new to Razor, how that syntax works. Okay, so I just refreshed this page. Now this link should work, and it does. Notice the link did not take me to /index, and the reason why is what it does when it creates this is it gets you the link to where the page is, not necessarily to the not necessarily to that specified location. Now, I can route index, and this works fine, but that's not the default. So the default for that page is that you don't specify it, and so it doesn't for an index page. So it handles defaults correctly. You just need to specify it because you're linking to a page. There are other tags that you can use other than ASP-page. There are things like, controller. So here's route. So you'll notice that there are other things that you can do. Other tag helpers. My brain's not working right now, but I think you get the point. Okay. I don't think we actually want to have a contact page, so I'm going to remove that link for now. Okay, home about channels. Cool. Let's go ahead and do this. So that is actually, wait, put that back in. We'll fix this. Fix channels link. Okay. Now we're gonna remove those. Before I get rid of that, I think I'm actually just going to get rid of the page. Was there anything on it? No, it's just links to email addresses. We're not at One Microsoft Way, so goodbye contact page. Goodbye, bye contact page. You're gone. It's like you were never there. Remove contact page. Okay. Let's take a look at how this is working. All right, site. You doing well? Hope you're doing well. Oops, the site doesn't want to let go. Well, I know how to handle that. So it can't copy the files because the site doesn't want to die right now for some reason. Either way, I am going to just kill it. The new way you just described seems so much easier than the way I learned. Glad about that, Laurel. I don't know which way you learned previously, but yeah, I do like the way pages are set up because there is a clearly defined page for each thing. So there is an index page, there is, an index inside of channels, and it's associated with it's quick and easy to understand. The href and the URL. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, that's what actually ends up getting created by these, but we're able to get structures and routing, and it's pretty nice with this setup. Hey S&B, welcome. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to everyone. I think I said that at the beginning of the stream, but maybe not. Either way, I just killed the site and started it over again. Here it is. We can go to the channels page, and this is what I want to do. When we go here, if I create a new item, let's say we decide to start streaming and on Sundays at 11 in the morning, which we're not doing, but imagine that we were. When I create that, I want this system to go and create the 52 scheduled instances. Now, you might be saying, but Brendan, can't you just intuit that information when displaying the calendar in the future? To which I would say, yeah, sort of, but there's a lot of complexity, because then we're having to compare things that happen in all different time zones and determine which ones to display by figuring out the time zones and doing calculations to figure out when they are. Whereas in this way, what we can instead do is say, essentially put all of the future events where there is a known time in UTC time, and then any time we get so at any point in the future, if the databases change, if a country decides they want to shift around how time zones work, when we get a new version of our time zone database, we can just reset all the sessions for the future. So that's essentially the plan there. Okay. Wanted to give an example. I am going to delete this one. We don't want that one. Looks like we need to fix this. We can't delete right now. That's my first time trying that. Why can't we delete? Which foreign key is preventing us? So we must have a foreign key that we didn't cascade delete correctly. So looks like we get to dig in and find the problem. So first off, what we tried to delete was a scheduled stream. Let's take a look in the database. Find the one, whoops, that's not what I meant to click on. Find the one that we were trying to delete. Scheduled stream, view data. So this is the data we were trying to delete. This right here. Essentially, channel 1 has a recurring event on Sundays at those times. and yes, those times are what you think they are. They're just giant numbers. Yet we couldn't delete it. It has a reference to the channel. Did I create those already? I didn't think I did. Let's have a look. Did I create them? Yes, I did. Ooh, apparently I did that already. So these are what needed to get deleted. And actually it looks like with 260 of these, looks like we really did create 52 of them each time. So it looks like we already did the year, and that's actually kind of cool. Well, in that case, we get to handle the cascading delete of these. So, cool. So with this, stream sessions, scheduled stream ID, the conflict incurred in this stream is terminated. Essentially, we need to make sure those get deleted as well. Let's take a look. Inside of here, we should have... Actually, is it this one? Where is sessions? Ah, okay. Delete behavior cascade. That is identity, where we're doing a stream session. Hang on. Scheduled stream. Delete behavior cascade. A scheduled stream has... okay, so a stream session does have one, but it doesn't have the property for it. It just has these. So it's an implied connection. Scheduled stream. Is that the link that causes me problems? So I'm going to add this in here. I want to check something. I'm going to add a migration called test. And when I do this, I want to see what that does. Ooh. That significantly changed some things. Dropped a foreign key and added in a new foreign key. On delete, referential action restrict. We're going to ask the interwebs. EF core cascading delete. The child dependent can be deleted. Yep. So we don't want that. Yeah, we want that. So, okay, yep, should happen when they call null. That's what we expect. Okay. Remove the blog entries. So context, remove blog, okay. Yes, I want, let's see, Cascading Delete always works in one direction from principal entity to dependent. So you delete the principal entity and the dependent entity. Deleting the principal entity deletes the dependent entity, yeah. For one-to-many relationships, the one side is always the principal and the many is always the dependent. Yes, looks like entity has one with that. Each relationship consists of two ends. The fluent configuration allows you to start with one and relates to the other. That has one that with many of those. It's the same. She used a single configuration per relationship in order to avoid discrepancies. That being said, from the same. Okay, let's confirm how our relationships are set up in here. We're going to undo this change. Oh, did we rename that column? What? We didn't rename that, did we? Oh, scheduled stream ID, because we called it a stream instead of a scheduled stream. That's why it did the rename. Oh, okay. We're gonna fix that because it got confused because I called it something else. That's why it got so weird. Okay, here's what happened. When I created this, just as a quick explanation, I gave this the scheduled stream, which I should have called scheduled stream. So when we do this, this is going to simplify what happens in the migration. So when we run this again, this migration is going to be simpler than the previous one. And you'll see that now there's no change. So that's good. That means that it's not getting confused by our wanting to have a reference to that object here. So that's a positive. When we take a look at this, this should be basically a no change, yeah. So this said has one of these, so it defined the name, and that's the only difference. I don't think it's worth having another migration just to get that. Just for that piece, I should say. So let's discard all those again. Okay, here's what I want to do. This needs to be a cascading delete. So let's take a look at what happens when we delete, and let's make sure that we actually pulled all that data. I think we need to include them when we do the delete. I think is what's getting weird here. So hey, Murky. Greetings. So let's find that. That should be in a bunch of places. So that is on scheduled stream. Has one. Okay, so scheduled stream has a channel, and there should be a cascading delete on that. Let's see, what else has one? Why didn't this one get the cascading delete? That's interesting. Let's take a look at our DB context, because I bet that's what's getting us. Whoops, not the snapshot of it. The actual DB context itself, which should be in here. Okay. Channels, stream sessions. Yeah, I guess we do want to pull them directly sometimes. So, stream session. So this is the instance. So it has UTC, that's that. It has UTC end time. And the version is required. Let's take a look at the scheduled stream. The scheduled stream has channel that is required. So I think if we make this have a required oops, let's just say property. It has a property that we're going to call scheduled stream. We're going to say that it's required. Let's go create it. So if we go to a stream session, we're going to add that property that we were talking about adding. Okay, so it's in there. So now we can require it. So builder property channel ID is required, yes. Okay, let's find out if it lets us do that. Just going to test it. 4P3S, hello, greetings, welcome. Hopefully everyone here is having a pretty good day. We are making a little bit of progress on this. Let me go ahead and add a migration again. Ooh, didn't like that. The property schedule stream is a subscribe schedule which is not supported by... Change the property... Interesting. Stream schedule. Oh, is it because it's not in here? Oh, right. It's not a property. This was a property. But it's not that. Because we don't want to set it up that way. This has a key. No. Has one scheduled stream. Many stream. And it is required, right? Okay, so let's do this. As one of those with many of those, and it is required. Okay, I think we got it. So, all right, let me catch up on chat here. What do we think about Blazor? I think Blazor is a really neat experiment that I'm hoping goes somewhere. Blazor looks awesome, and I really want to dig into it a lot more. Is it the future? I don't know if it's the future. I think WebAssembly is definitely the future, and I think there is a future for Blazor. I don't think it is going away. I think Microsoft is going to put a lot of effort into it. And because it does not require the same level of opting in as something like Silverlight does, for example, I think it's going to find a much wider use. Not to associate it with that, but that's the previous client-side C# solution. You love C# and you just started learning some JS and Vue, yes, so I do like JavaScript. It's a reasonably interesting language. It's got some quirks, which in some ways makes it fun, in some ways makes it a little crazy, and I do enjoy Vue as well. And as SMB mentions, Blazor's experimental, so we want to see what happens with that. I want to try some of it on the stream, but I don't want to do it on any of our long-running projects, and the reason is that Blazor is going to be changing too much, so I think we can play with it a little bit, but I don't want to like build it into one of our projects because I think maintaining it even on our open source projects is going to be a pain. So I think it's a terrible idea, including the runtime. Yes, so Voight, I'm not sure what the deal is going to be with having to get that runtime in there. My hope is that they can come up with a solution where pretty much everybody just gets that in their browser after one time running it. Some way essentially of like caching it. So essentially everybody's getting Silverlight installed, but without having to do a Silverlight install experience. I think is kind of the idea with that, with getting the runtime, but we'll see what happens. But yes, that comment and is a very, very telling thing. It's going to be a huge change. The challenge is that I think other runtimes are going to exist as well, so I don't think Blazor's going to be the only one out there. I do think others are going to take that approach. Hey, J-Stuff, greetings, welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and see, did this work? Is it going to complain about it this time? And actually, we didn't get the change last time, did we? No. Okay, good. Let's add this migration one more time and see if it lets that happen. Okay. Ooh, there are multiple relationships between without names. Okay. So I need to make sure that I don't define that relationship twice. I think because of that there could be a little bit of weirdness. Let's find out what it did. Okay, so ooh, did a bunch of weird stuff. Let's see what EF migrations are doing here. So they dropped a foreign key, probably because it wants to recreate it. It's then going to alter the scheduled stream ID column to make it so that it is not nullable. Okay, so yes, it has to have, we want that, that's correct. We want to add a column, scheduled stream ID 1, no, definitely don't want to do that. So that's the second relationship that we were talking about. It was complaining that there's a second relationship. So I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of this migration for now. We're going to figure out what that second relationship is. Let me check. I think JS is fine for web, but just the thought of doing server-side JS makes me want to run away from civilization. So you're not a Node guy, is what you're saying. Not a Node person there. Okay. So let's make sure we're only defining it one way, and I like defining it this way, so that this has a scheduled stream. So let's take a look at where scheduled stream is and see if this has many of those defined. No. Why is this down here? I am confused by that. That shouldn't be there. That should have been up there. Well, I can do it this way. We're going to do this then. So instead of defining the relationship here, we're just going to put this here, and we're going to say scheduled stream ID and is required. And actually, instead of putting in that property, I'm going to do this. Name of, what is this? This is StreamSession. Can I do this? No, because that's all I could get, and then I can't get the ID on that unless I like put it together. So no, we're just gonna go with, we're just gonna put it in. Okay. A string it is. Okay, let's take a look at that. I'm gonna check chat here in a moment. Just people playing rock, paper, scissors. I wonder if anyone won. That's funny. Someone changed. And the comment came in afterwards. I choose rock. Oh, 3 people won. Congratulations. Nice. First non-rigged game of the new year. Rigged. Okay. So let's see. We drop the foreign key. And then we add in... we alter the column. And then add in the foreign key again. Okay, good. So we did not add the extra column this time. So it looks like we got rid of that relationship by not defining and just specifying that the property needed to be there, which adds another cool thing. It put in the onDelete referential action cascade. So now that we've made that property required, it is actually going to, by default, cascade delete it, which is what we want. We want to make sure that when you delete a scheduled stream, it deletes all the instances in the future. Remember, these are tied exactly to this. So if you recreate the same session, you will get this again. So it will always be here. And what we're probably going to need to do is create a background process or something like that that creates new data in the future. And we should be able to do that easily, especially if we reuse the same code. Essentially a, like, you know, hey, re-up, add the next week kind of concept. Or maybe add the next day, something like that. Depends on how frequently we run it and whether we actually want to guarantee that we've always got a year worth of data out in the future. Okay, so that looks good. Let's not do test. We're not putting test in as the name. So let's discard that. And this is going to be... let's do add migration, fixing stream session scheduled stream relationship. Hopefully that name's not too long. Let's find out what it named it. Fixing stream session scheduled stream relationship. Yeah, that's not terrible. And the file name is readable. Now, I get really long file name. I agree. It's just kind of the way that EF works. Let's see if it can make this change, though. One of the nice things about being in dev mode is we're early enough in the project that I don't actually have to care about the data. So obviously you're going to have to deal with migrations of the actual database if you are sending this to production. And there are ways of getting it to generate the script that will actually do that, and so you could then run those on production, for example, if you have like a restricted environment where someone has to actually do that. I tend to like environments where these are just like automated pieces that go out, but it's really depends on what you've got. So, okay, that seems like it worked. Before I make any changes, I want to go ahead and try this out. Just give it a shot. Let's see if it's running here. Okay, so I reloaded this page. I think I should be able to refresh it. There we go. So we are really here. I want to delete this Sunday one. I don't do a Sunday stream, so we're not going to have that one. Such a job to create future stream dates, times. Would need to honor any changes made by the streamer. So S&B, yes. We do want to handle that. And the way I intend to handle that is I want these sessions to be on the calendar as a separate thing. I want it to be known that these are the auto-generated sessions. So I think what we'll do is display them differently. So if someone schedules a special event, we're going to say that's happening unless they cancel it. For these are planned pieces. So if we're wrong on one, it's not a huge deal, but we also might make it so that someone tells us a cancellation's coming and we store that separately, so that we could then not recreate these, because that's the challenge, is we need to not recreate these when we re-up the time factor. So if we get a new time zone database, we need to not recreate events we were supposed to get rid of. Okay, let's click the button. Aww. No page named index matches the values. Okay, so I think our delete worked, but our redirect didn't. Let's take a look. Hang on. That would actually be really funny if that's what happened. Okay, we go in here. This is the schedule. Delete. So on post async in the delete, we redirected to /index. Is that really where it usually tries to go? It does usually try to go to /index. Redirect page /index. Oh! No. That should take us to all those pages. Why didn't that redirect work? I'm actually confused by that one. I'll have to look at that. Jadisku. Let's see. There is... Oh, doing the MVVM pattern on Blazor. That'd be kind of fun. Sir Skull Legend, welcome. Greetings. Hi. Hopefully everybody's doing pretty well. There are a handful of new people, so I'm going to click a couple of buttons while we're here. First one being... Wait, what? Whoa. Oh, my Stream Deck. It's not playing the thingies. Why didn't that one work? So, for anyone that's new here, all the source code that we do for everything here on the stream is out on GitHub. You can find links down below, as well as the one I just put over there in chat. So github.com/devchatter if you want to take a look at this or contribute to this project at all. The goal of this project is to allow streamers to be able to schedule things and allow viewers to be able to see when those streamers are streaming. One of the big things here, over the weekend I received, holiday. Over the holiday. So over like New Year's and everything, I received an email from our good friend Steve Smith, who many of you might know on the internet as our Dallas, was looking for a good time to stream. He wanted to find a spot where he wasn't going to be overlapping with like me or Fritz or anybody else. I don't see any lag on my end, Sir Skull, so Steve contacted me and he's like, hey, what would be a good time? Here's what I was thinking. And I responded back to him and I told him who he was overlapping with, because I have the information for a lot of streamers and when they're scheduled and things like that in my head. And I wanted to make sure that we could get him a good time. So he is going to overlap with some people, but hopefully, a lot of that is choosing like, well, whose content is similar to mine. So for example, like overlapping, if you do C#, overlapping with an F# developer is not as big a deal. So that, people can hopefully watch as many streamers as they want and choose. So that's kind of the idea that we're going for, is let you sort of pick it, and then as the viewer, you can go there and say like, hey, you know what, I actually feel like watching a stream. Who's going to be streaming this evening? Maybe like after work or something like that, and you can potentially go here, look at the schedule, and see who's streaming. or who will be streaming. Because right now all you get is who's currently streaming. Other things I want to mention, because suddenly my Stream Deck's working again. There's also our Discord. If you are interested in chatting with me or the other DevChatter viewers, our Discord is a good place to do that. That's a chat application, and you can find links to these down below as well. Okay, so I'm not sure why that index page didn't redirect to that. Which, I'm going to do this, because I swear the other one worked. I'm actually just going to look for that. Parameters need to match route values of the intended action. This key. Wait, I don't have a page ID. Oh, I had routed parameters. I wonder if that is the issue. Huh. Okay, well, either way. Let's go ahead and try it again. Maybe that's why. Oh, no. Oh, geez. No, I get it. I know what happened. We need to specify the parameter. We can't go back there. We can't go back. We need to add the route. We don't have the route. Okay, cool. We have a fun thing to discuss. So here's the deal. When we go to the schedule page, we're supposed to have this parameter, this /1, which we need to put in here. How do I specify route values? There it is. Okay, so on index, what's our route value? What's our route value called? We called it something. Channel ID. Okay, so when we go back to delete, we need to say channel ID. You know, I was... Oh, man. I was about to do a colon here instead of that. So that is quite funny. Not one. One? Where would you get one? And I don't want ID. I want scheduled stream dot channel dot ID. Why is that null reference exception? Oh, that is a good point. How would I possibly have gotten there if scheduled stream was null? Oh. Maybe a not found? I don't even know what to respond on that. That's a weird case. So thinking about that, the idea being that you're trying to delete. If we couldn't find the item you're trying to delete, then that's a not found, because it wasn't there. We couldn't delete that item. It didn't exist. But it's strange because that's on a post. So that's almost like it was already gone. So some kind of an invalid invalid operation or something like that. So basically, fixing Twitch one missing feature at a time. Wait, what's going on? You're way over in Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, so that's actually there could just be internet troubles over that distance. Yes, Simon, we basically are fixing Twitch one missing feature at a time. What's C#? So C# is a general purpose language, so it's application development. So web programming, application programming, you'll get things like WPF. You can use it for Xamarin, so you can make mobile applications that run on Android and iOS using Xamarin. You can run applications that run on Linux servers. You can run applications on Windows desktop machines. You can build games using Unity. There's a lot of uses for C#. It is not like a one-use language. Hey, Keparlit, welcome. Hopefully, and just a heads up for anybody, if I ever pronounce your name wrong, go ahead and let me know that I'm not saying your name right. Don't feel embarrassed about it. Even if you've been here for 6 months and I'm still pronouncing your name wrong, feel free to let me know at any point. You read something on Google that you need Java for applications on iPhone and Android. Whoa, that is not correct, Sir Skull Legend. Java you can use for building native Android applications, but it is not native iPhone applications. That would be a language called Swift. A lot of developers actually end up using, so there are a lot of approaches where you can do the same language to build an application both for Android and iOS, well, Xamarin is one of those solutions. There are also JavaScript-based solutions, so you can use C# or JavaScript. But I don't know if there might be another Java solution that can do the same kind of thing. But you can definitely do native applications on Android and Java if you want. Leet, did you get a job in the programming field? Is your question at me? I've had many jobs in the programming field many times. I've been a programmer for a long time. I'm not a young dev by any stretch anymore. Not one of the oldest devs, but certainly not one of the young ones anymore. I have had many jobs in programming. Right now I am an independent consultant, so I am actually available for hire at pretty much any point, because I can always schedule things out into the future, so... yeah, so good stuff. C#, you can write applications for... yeah, so as Judith was mentioning, C#'s general purpose language, so you can use it pretty much anywhere. That's not to say that it's always going to be the best tool for every job, but it is one that can handle many jobs. So I think for most developers, you want to be able to use a couple of general purpose languages, like a C#, for example, but then you also want to know some other languages that are focused potentially. So if you're going to do a specific thing, it's important that you just be able to pick them up. So knowing a couple of languages is a good way of picking up more. So just experience in learning languages is a good idea. How many projects should you add in your GitHub portfolio knowing that you do not have a degree in this field? So if you don't have a computer science degree, I don't think there's a specific number, but I would definitely recommend that you have some projects that you've worked on in your GitHub. Even if they're just side projects, because it's a nice way of showing people that you really can code. Because that's a tough thing to get across in an interview, that you actually know programming. Interviewing is one of the biggest pains in the rear of our industry, so I really do recommend that you get something in your GitHub. Anything, doesn't matter what it is. Exactly. No, so one of the nice things is that we have some awesome people in our developer community. We don't all agree on everything, but we've got a good set of people that are just nice devs interested in learning and advancing and things like that, and they can give a lot of good suggestions. So I'm a big fan of our moderators, S&B, and we've got plenty of others in here as well that like to help out. Crimson Green was here earlier, and I don't remember who else has shown up, but we've got a good set of people within the DevChatter as well as the whole developer community. So Okay, so channel ID, that should work now. Let's go ahead and try this. So I'm going to refresh this page. We're going to try a delete. Knowing that, I'm betting the edit page is busted too. We have some good VIPs in here as well, like Will. So Will Bennett is another awesome person here. Basically, if someone has a sword or a VIP icon here in the DevChatter channel, you can expect that that's someone that's going to give you good advice about programming things. So they're good, smart people. But there are a lot of good, smart people in here, even that do not have those swords. So swords or the VIP diamond or anything like that. So. Okay, so we've got this set up. Let me try clicking the delete. We're going to delete the Sunday one again. And did that work? Ooh, still didn't like it. Wait, object reference not set to an instance of an object. Okay, so that means that we need to save that value before we do the delete, because it nuked this thing, or it didn't include it. Oh, because it did a context find async without an include. Yeah, because it did it without an include, so we don't actually have the channel ID on there. Which I need the channel ID off of this when we delete it. So our options, we can either be passing around the channel ID when we do these, so we could do that. So let's do this. Do we add that to the route? Essentially, then, we would be having this as schedule 1/delete would be the structure we'd want, but that'd be weird. Gotta think about this. There's some interesting things in here. Questions that need answering. So for now, let's do this. We'll say single async. Single or default async, where ID equals ID. So we're gonna find the one that matches that ID, get it. We're gonna do and we're doing an include on the channel so that we can pull this value right here. Okay, that should get rid of it. I'm gonna go ahead and build. Rigged! Hey, Simon, you won rock, paper, scissors. Congratulations. I actually have Hangman turned on. Nice. I didn't realize that was going to be on. There you go. You get to legit just play Hangman there. Good luck. Okay. So let's take a look at the schedule again. We're going to add that one in, create new Sunday. Create it. It's right down here. Delete. So this is number 7. We're going to delete. And it goes away, and we're redirected back. Perfect. Okay, so we dealt with that complexity of the fact that we are in this schedule here. So we're in channel schedule 1. Next thing we need to take care of is To be honest, at some point I want to shift this routing because I would rather have this be channels/1/schedule and have the structure be that way, but I don't want to figure that one out just yet. Uh-oh. I think we might be about to lose the Hangman game, everyone. That Hangman's looking quite full there. Okay. Good luck. Oh, I know the answer. Hey, Will got it. Good job, Will. Sorry, S&B, you were a little slow. Spooky Coder, thanks for that help there with the Hangman game. You did well. Oh, S&B typoed WordPress anyway. Since when was WordPress a word? People are complaining about the words again. Yes, we use some proper nouns as our words for many of those. Get a lot of complaints about that here. Lots of people like to complain about that stuff. Okay, so there we go. I would call that fixed, and we can delete. So this is allow deleting scheduled events. Scheduled streams. Allow deleting scheduled streams. That's what we just did. Okay, great. That fixes that. Now, the next thing I wanted to check is editing. Can we edit? No. See, it has the same redirect problem. We couldn't edit these. I figured we would run into that because it's going to need this same thing that we needed there. So let's take a look at edit. Because when we get here, it can't redirect. There's no way it can redirect. So we want to head back to that. Which also means that we need the channel to be on that object. Oh, and we're already including channel right there. Okay. So I think that will work because it's on the object, and when it comes back up, it should have it, I think. Except that... Ooh, I'm not sure. What did we use it for? We used it right here. You know what? I'm not using that property. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Nope. We're just attaching it and saying it's modified? Ooh, crud. Oh man, the crud template. Oh, that's bad. Since it was a product, nice. Yeah, it's questionable whether whether we include all the proper nouns, but yeah, and also welcome, greetings. Greetings, fellow Twitch programming streamer, who would actually probably find this to be a very useful application. So if you are interested, I know that you're not huge on running ASP.NET Core on I don't know anything, but yeah. Hi, hold your horses tight. Welcome, greetings. So this scares me. I don't want it to do that. But I can't redirect this like this just yet. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to send us, instead of going to the index page, I'm going to send us to the details page. Because I can do that. So I'm going to cheat and send us to the details page. Because I think I can get away with it. And that is a sensible place for it to take us. So let's take a look. First off, let me just build to make sure that I did, because I don't remember if... Whoops, site's not running. Channels. We're going to take a look at the schedule here. And then, oh, there's our Saturday one that got reset because we didn't get these values right, I guess. Ooh, those times are messy. We apparently did not fix this page yet. Let me delete. So we're going to test our delete. That takes us back to this page. We're going to create new. So this is going to be our Saturday at, at 1 p.m. So let's create that. There's our regular stream time for Saturday. Now I'm going to edit this. Those times are acceptable for now, although I don't think it's binding correctly, so we're going to need to look at that. And then when I save, it takes us here, and ooh, I lost the parameter. Okay. So we can fix that. Whoops, not delete. Details. Details. There it is. It's looking for an ID value, so we can do that. Redirect to page, new object with an ID that just has ID in it. We've got to have ID, right? Do we not have ID? ID equals scheduled stream.id, which that does have, so there we go. Rebuild this. Let's see. You do have a Windows 10 machine now. Good. Is it running like the Windows 10, whatever version it was you needed to run Docker? I saw you tweeted something about that. Bought an XPS 15, so you'll be running. Fun stuff. I don't mind Windows. But then again, my computer doesn't require as much restarting as apparently others. This is actually the first time I've... oh, that's awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to catch the stream. Windows 95. Oh, nice, Janiscu. Windows Millennium Edition was the best. Okay, so I'm going to nuke this again, and we're going to recreate it. So we're going to create the Saturday one more time. Whoops. I can math. So we're going to create that stream time, and then I want to go to Edit. And then when I save, aha, details 9. Okay, so I lost the values, but we redirected to the right place, and now when I go back to list, it works. Does edit work? It does. So we lost the values. I need to figure out how we did that. I don't know. We're going to have to look at that. So apparently we messed something up. We're using the CRUD template from ASP.NET Core, so we'll see what it did. So... and actually, I do really want one of those Windows 95 ugly sweaters that people were showing. I think they look fantastic. Who doesn't want an ugly sweater with the Windows 95 logo? That thing was really nice. No, it wasn't. It was really... Anyway, nope, you don't have Pro yet. You're going to get a license and stuff from some softies or Redmond next... Oh, okay, yeah, so that'll work, yeah. I was not aware of that restriction, to be honest. I didn't realize you had to have Pro in order to run Docker. Okay, so redirect after editing scheduled stream. So, okay. So... There's two problems I want to fix. First off, this is using all of the actual model objects that are bound to the database here. So this is just ripe for people sending us bad data, and essentially, like, right now, someone can go ahead and add a stream to someone else's thing, and there's, like, no restrictions on any of that. Now, this is also single user, so it's not like someone owns the channel yet. We're going to add that eventually, but it's not there yet. So we'll see what happens with that, but I don't want to be using the model objects at that point anyway, so we're going to want to fix that as well. But first, I want to figure out why we lost these values. I don't think when David and I were working on this, we were pair programming on this before, I don't think we messed with these. So we haven't gotten the chance to fix them yet. Okay. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You need a penguin hugging the window, because that would actually be really cool. See, you need Pro Hyper-V in order to configure. Oh, Cyrillash, that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense. It's not something I think about because I'm usually running that version of Windows, whatever it is. You can use Docker Toolbox and run it on Windows 10 Home. Oh, cool. Also, hey Cyrillash. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the lurk. Much appreciated. And anybody else that's lurking, you never have to chime in and talk. You can just sit in the background, keep me in the background. Always up to you. We appreciate that you're here and you want to spend some time with us. Oh, yeah, dual booting. There you go. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to take a look at these. We have an ASP for scheduled stream local time and local end time. So what are these, and why are they not getting bound? So when we run this, this is the edit page. Model state is valid. Let's see what happens. What's the bound object? That. I'm going to debug this. We're going to take a look at what the value actually is at runtime when we go ahead and try to edit that. So we're going to open up the schedule. We're going to edit, and we're going to make this 1 p.m. and this is going to be 3 p.m. So 2 hours long. When we get here, this did not get local end time and local start time set. We have the day of the week, we have the ID. Channel is still null, which is an interesting question all on its own, whether that's going to be a problem. No sessions listed. Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder if we're going to have to recreate... we should redo the sessions when we edit this. We should delete all the sessions and recreate them or modify all the associated sessions. Ooh, yes. Okay, so this needs some complexity. We cannot wire this up the way that this is going. I am going to go ahead and make the executive decision that we are going to switch this to a view model right now. Because I don't like the way that this is currently going. I don't think it's going to work. Not nicely, at least. Not nicely. Okay. Where do we want our view models to exist? For now, I'm going to try to put it in core. If we can keep it in core, it's going to stay there. Yeah, exactly. So the only reason we weren't using view models already is because I like the fact that you get CRUD templates straight out of the box in ASP.NET Core, and it'll just wire it up. So if you are building a simple thing, you can just do that, and awesome. Time to refactor everything. Yeah, creative builds. I'm only going to do this for the edit page for now, and we'll start getting it on the other ones later, because I do believe in slowly changing things over time. So, we're going to call this view models, which for now, I'm going to put it in the root of core. Well, I might move somewhere else. This might end up somewhere else, but this is edit. What are we editing? Edit scheduled stream. It's gonna be its name for now. I was debating whether I wanted to add the word view model to the end of it. Edit scheduled stream. This is going to have a couple of properties on it. The first one being an ID value. The second one being the stream times. So we don't need that. We don't need the channel. So we need to know its ID and these three. I think those are the ones we need. Day of week, local start time, local end time. And yeah, that's what gets bind. Oh, that's what gets bound. Bound. That's what gets bind. I can speak English. Okay. Stately. Yeah, no problem, no problem. People are always welcome to ask questions, even ones of what are you working on. We're building a simple little website that is designed to handle schedules for streams. So the idea being that we actually have a few programming streamers here in the audience as well. When we're deciding these things, people want to try and schedule their streams so that they're not overlapping with too many other streamers. Because obviously we have about 50 people in here, so that's 50 people that are probably not in another channel right now. So that, you know, obviously when I'm streaming, I pull people away from the other streamers. So Ed, for example, Ed Charbonneau, who does the Blazor stream, we're a big fan of Ed here. He's actually been a guest on our stream, and I think Ed commented to me at one point that if I'm streaming or Fritz is streaming or someone else is streaming, his numbers are usually down. Like, there are fewer people in there chatting with him, usually because they're over in another channel. So this lets people not overlap their streams. For example, Steve Smith was asking me just a few days ago when would be a good time for his stream to be, because he wants to schedule so that he's not overlapping with other people. And so we were figuring out when would be a good time for him to stream. But then we also want to make it so it's easier for the viewers to find streams that they can watch. So I see a lot of value in this for the developer community watching live streams. So I think this is going to be super useful, and we just need to go ahead and knock it out so that people can use it. Okay, so editing a scheduled stream is what we want to be able to do. So for that, I want to put this on here, and this is going to get slightly messy. How many changes did I have? Not many, right? Oh, good. Perfect. So we're going to put the view model on there. And I'm cool with it being this, which actually maybe I'll call this view model. Just so we're clear on what it is. Okay, so this is going to get me a scheduled stream, and I need to convert that to a view model and assign it. So let's do this. Var scheduled stream. So actually, let's just do this. Scheduled stream, that, and then I need to turn not found. Otherwise, set the view model equal to scheduled stream dot to edit view model. Okay, and that is not going to go on the model object. Not going on the model object. That is going on an extension method that we're going to write. Yes, exactly, Janescu. Yeah, so yes. And there is a repo, and we are taking contributions, and everyone is welcome to make suggestions to this. And yes, Simon. So we can use AutoMapper for it if you like, and it should be set up that way. So feel free to send a pull request with the AutoMapper adjustment. For now, I'm just going to do a quick extension method that just does this, and let's do. Am I gonna put it in here? View models. Let's say this is mapping. I'm just gonna call it mapping extensions for now. So I'm going to make a public static class called mapping extensions, and if anyone here is new to C# and does not know how extension methods work, prepare to be kind of happy that these exist, because they're pretty nice. Edit scheduled stream, and this is what it's called. So I'm sort of so I'm creating a static method that's going to be accessible as if it is on another object. And the object it's going to be accessible on is this one. So essentially, by doing a static method inside of a static class and putting the this keyword before the type, I'm essentially able to say, hey, C#, allow me to call this method on this type as if it were actually there. And all we have to do to use it is make sure that we've included this namespace. And so that's the magic. Okay. So for now, I want to say return new one of these. And as I said, this could get wired up as AutoMapper, and that's totally fine. So day of week equals source dot day of week. ID equals source dot man, I can't type today. Local start time equals start time and local end time, source local end time. There we go. Now we're done. So that exists. You wish, I agree, Simon. So one of the nice things is that if you are using a tool like ReSharper and probably some other ones, they will search for extension methods sometimes and suggest including the using for them. But I would love if that were just out of the box in Visual Studio, checking for extension methods to suggest in there, because that would be something I would like it if maybe there's another keyboard shortcut, maybe if I have to, control shift space, something like that in order to get them to show up, or maybe they get delayed or they're showed in a different way, but I think that'd be really cool to be able to see all the available extension methods. Okay, so that should get us our model object. When we get this back, I do not want to just immediately set the value. That is not the way that we're going to do it. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to pull this value from the database and potentially modify my 3 values that we were allowed to change. So let's say context scheduled streams scheduled stream do I need to pull the extra values? Yes, I do. So we need to include the... This is why we're doing this. We need to include the sessions. And we need to say single or default async. And the value that we're going to grab is x.id equals view model dot id. Yeesh. Scary. Okay. Var foo equals await that. Okay, so quick explanation for anyone that is new to any of this stuff. When we do async code, you await is basically a way of calling. It's a way of saying, hey, this is an async call that we're making. I want to just stop, make sure we actually get this, and then we can do our next step. So let that happen, and then we'll use this. So this value is going to be our model object. So if that was our view model, this is our model. And welcome, Heather. Thanks very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated. And I will take that to mean that you are enjoying the stream. So welcome. Always glad to see other developers in the channel either chatting with us or just enjoying watching along. Okay, so this is the object that we pulled. I'm going to put this here for now. We're going to move this somewhere else, but again, I always build in steps. So step 1, put this together. Step 2, actually put it in the right place. So let's say this dot day of week. Actually, we're creating one. We need to modify from this. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the extension as well. Ooh, I hear my son out in the hallway. He can probably hear me. Let's see, this is... No, yes. Public static void, let's say apply, edit changes for now. This, scheduled stream, we'll call this the model. And then I'm going to say edit scheduled stream. Oops, yeah, edit scheduled stream, view model. And then we're going to say model dot day of week equals view model dot day of week, model dot local start time equals view model dot local start time, and model dot local end time equals view model dot local end time. Okay, so that's our quick little mapping stuff that we're doing here. Just reorder those, reorder that. So we're going to put that in here, and then we can just say model dot apply these changes. Now, remember with your words, as developers, we are speaking to ourselves in the future as well as other developers that are reading this code. And that's why we talk about code being self-documenting. That's not to say that you can skip documentation or that you can leave out comments, but some things you want to be clear in your naming what you're going for here. So I have called this apply edit changes. Essentially, I'm indicating to you this is modifying this value. So I could have done, you know, I want you to know this value is getting modified. I want to know there's a side effect to calling this. And since I am changing the model object when you call this, I want it to be clear that that's happening. So I put the word apply, and that kind of means to me, hey, this is going to do something to this. So I want to pass in view model. There we go. Yeah, okay. So that's going to apply those changes there. And then I want to say, so because we did that, we can now, so we applied them, we can now call save, and this is going to be scheduled stream exists. Where's that check? Scheduled stream exists, that context, scheduled stream, any, yeah, okay. That's fine. We'll do a not found, otherwise we're going to throw. That's funny, that is redundant. We're going to rethrow the thing, so this is going to be viewModel.id is what we use there for our redirect. And that should work. So this should be the basic thing. We still have a problem. We haven't fixed our sessions, but we've got this part. So let's make sure this new code works. I'm going to check the front-end Razor page before we go ahead and try that. I heard someone say Dada out in the hallway. I think he was talking to me. I think he can hear me in here. So let's put in a quick to-do. And a lot of this code needs to leave this location anyway. Basically everything here needs to go somewhere else. We'll do that, don't worry. So this is to do update the sessions. Update the, what do we call it? Sessions? They're sessions. That's why we included them here. Required for updating them. Okay, I think that's kind of clear. And those are all of our changes, so that's not bad for switching us off of the view models. So I'm going to go ahead and rerun this site, and we'll take a look and see... Nope. I said I needed to fix the Razor, and then I didn't do it. Way to go, Brendan. See, look at that, because I changed this name. So if you're wondering, why, Brendan, did you change the name? Because that's going to cause you these problems. And my answer is, I changed the name so it would cause these problems, so that I would make sure I fixed them and didn't find out at that point that these didn't get adjusted. So, view model, day of week. View model, day of week. These are definitely what these are called. And then this one, local start time, that still works. And it does have the ID, which is interesting. They keep that as a hidden input so that it gets bound. We're going to need verification on these if we actually like open this up to other people doing this when we apply ownership to this. Luckily, I actually there's a trick that I like, which is to leverage action filters, which I think we can get away with here. I'll need to look into that. But essentially, I like the idea of adding a filtering layer that can check permissions, and it actually gives you the chance to write that as a simple a filter on the page, and you can then specify. Essentially, I'm gonna leverage our pattern matching that exists in newer versions of C# to do some really cool things with that. So we will add that eventually. View model channel ID. View model doesn't have the channel ID, which means we just need to have channel ID on here. So model.channelID needs to be a thing, which means it needs to be on get. We need to set that value. So channel ID equals scheduled stream.channel.id. There we go. Required for back. Required for the backlink. We need to have that because we need this channel ID. So let's go ahead and do this. This is not a bound property, so something I want to note here. So this bind property, so this is getting bound when we receive the post, it binds the data into this object. It will not do that into this one, which means that down here we don't have access to channel ID, which we don't need it there. Yeah, we don't need it there because we're going to the details page. Okay, I see some comments in chat. I will get to those in 1 second. Let me just make sure that this is good, and I will explain while we run it. So that's back to list, which goes to the channel ID. So back to list link. We set that value, host async. Okay, whoops. Let's go ahead and try that real fast. Did I build? I don't know that I built, but let me build just in case, because we might have changed some back-end stuff. I'm going to go back to channels, click on schedule. We're going to delete that one. Yep, delete that. Create a new one. So we're going to create our Saturday at 1. Create the stream. Now Saturday, we should be able to edit. So that's 1 and 3. So those bound this time. So that's cool. We need to make those time, like actual time things, so that it binds. Oh, actually, those always bound. We need to make it time so it actually wires up correctly. Save that. So it resets. But hey, it worked-ish. We still have the problem that our time objects aren't correct, but this did work, and that's a win in my book. So we successfully switched that. It works the same way it did before. We just haven't fixed the weird part yet. There was a binding issue. Let's see. Will claims that something is rigged a while ago, like an angular route guard. Exactly, Simon. Yes, that's the idea. Yep, it's a little route guard. What is this project? Zythcan, which I'm guessing is how you pronounce that. And if it's not, let me know how to. That's a great question. This is a project. So This is a project for scheduling developer streams. So if you as a developer want to do a live stream, you can put your schedule up here. And if you as a viewer want to find streams to watch, this is a place to look for what streams are likely to happen in the future based on people's regular schedules. So right now, if you want to find who is streaming, say later today, I have to go to each and every one of the developer streamers that I follow and look on their page for their schedule, specifically for their calendar. Some of them might post a calendar that I, a like Google Calendar style thing that I can include, and you can do that approach, and maybe we'll make it so that this has like a shared calendar associated with it that is one of those style, but don't know. Well, we'll have to figure that out. Is it Zithcan or Zithcan then? Looks like Zithcan, with the T there. Yeah, I think I can say that. So thanks for letting me know how to pronounce that. What other programming streamers am I missing out on? That's part of the point of the of this. There are a number of programming streamers. I think I've got this channel following some other streamers. Probably. Hang on, let me find out. Who am I following? If you are interested, there are plenty of other streamers. You can go ahead and click on the followers, the following button. Not followers, but following, and you can see these are some other people that stream on Twitch from time to time. So since the DevChatter channel is only following other streamers, this is a good place to check for other streamers. So there have been plenty of lists on GitHub for a while of other streamers that you can check out. But yeah, there's plenty of them, and way more than I could possibly get in there. But that's part of the reason for wanting to exactly, Adrian. Which I'm sure I butchered your name because I've never been able to say it very well, because I'm bad at names. And yes, it is a good policy if you are a programming streamer and you have a programming streaming specific account to only follow other programming streamers or other programming stream related accounts. That is actually why I don't use my personal account, which, hi. I actually have another Twitch account that is the one I use for gaming and other things like that, that is separate from my programming account. So I am Brendonius, obviously, as you can tell from the name under there, which, speaking of which, I haven't mentioned this yet on the stream. Feel free to follow me on Twitter also. I'm at Brendonius, and you can follow DevChatter as well on there, but there's an underscore at the end of his name because someone else somehow already owned that. Oh, good. Wow, I got it right. See? Every once in a while I get names right on the first try. They're ones that I read all the time. The worst ones are the ones that you read all the time in your head and you've never actually spoken aloud. So, yeah. Don't, fun stuff. What? No one owned Brendonius. I own Brendonius. It's DevChatter that has the underscore. I've got Brendonius. That's easy to get. No one else wanted that one, trust me. That was all me. Okay, so the create page has it. So let's go to the create page because it's wired up correctly. So we're going to steal from it real fast so we can wire this up. And this will basically just be the big old fixing of the edit page. Okay, so here we go. On this page, ooh, the edit page doesn't look at all like the create page. Now does it? That's interesting. Yeah, so the create page did all the stuff with these. We're gonna need to wire some of this up, aren't we? Create stream time. Oh wait, I already did that. Oh man, go me. Yeah, I'm gonna need to move those around. Because I did some of this stuff already, so that was good. I am on top of some things, apparently. Okay, so I want to steal the stream time panel right here. And I want to steal this for this page, because they're practically the same. And I don't... Did it have the form in it? No. It's all inside of the form. Which means that it's going to replace these. Right? Yes. Okay. Instead of stream time, I just called this one view model. Which is a better name long term, I think, because they're going to be the same. Yep. Will is pronounced will. Oh yeah, I do always pronounce will wrong. You don't use partial views for that. Elven Slayer, yes, we probably are going to use a partial view that we're going to extract out for this. That's why I was commenting. I'm like, this feels like the exact same thing. We probably will want to extract those. Haven't yet, just trying to basically wire this together, and then once there's two of them, I will pull that out. But interestingly, you make a very good point that probably the... so this was not actually... So this part was not written by me. We just used the scaffold that ASP.NET Core automatically wires up to create these CRUD pages, and we're now sort of fixing those. So we started with the scaffold because it kind of gets us wired up right off the bat, and now we're in fix-it mode. So that was like the make it work, which the scaffold did just fine, and now we're in the like, actually let's make these right kind of phase. So that's why we're also extracting out view models and things like that. Because it straight used the model objects for it, which is kind of nuts. So let's see. Edit page, there we go. And it's got those, and those times are not wired up correctly. Take a look at back at the schedule. I'm going to delete that one again. Delete. We're going to create it again. Saturday at 01. And that's going to go to 3. Create. Edit. They didn't bind. In that case, so that's not considered a time. Let's see, what did we do with this one? Yep, that's a lot nicer. That's so much nicer. Oh, this is a much nicer view model than my other one. So I'm going to steal this. We're going to move it over here. We're going to make this the... Actually, let's just steal this. Stealing code from past me. Okay, we don't need that. So this is just using strings, and then the conversion is actually doing the switch. So that's actually kind of interesting. I do want to save these then, because this is going to go in my extension. So let's do this. Let's comment that out. These aren't going to work here. Okay, let's do this. We're going to bring that down there. Yes, I do have a domain for this already, so we are all set up to be able to run this at some point. So yep. Oh, that is funny. That's what project says right now, huh? That is not the project we're working on right now. Let's get rid of that command, because that is totally wrong. I'll have to edit that later. Okay, so I moved that over there. So let's get rid of this one. Goodbye. Move that down there. So that's going to be the mapping extensions. We're going to get rid of this. I'm going to have a couple of usings that are going to need fixing. This namespace is going to change to be that one. This namespace is also going to change, which is going to fix the namespace in the other one. So I should have moved this one first, but I didn't. So it automatically got rid of it, so hooray for the tooling fixing that stuff for me. This needs to live somewhere else. That shouldn't be there. That needs to come out of here. I'm going to put it in here for now, though. So this is day of week. I do think I want the time zone, actually. So day of week is going to come up here. It's not an ISO. It is an ISO day of the week, because that one can wire up correctly. And then these, the local start time and end time, are no longer going to be actual local times. They're just going to be the strings. So we're going to do, this is what's going to do the conversion to the model object. In our mapping extensions, when we do this, apply the edit changes, that's when this direction goes. So, okay, so here we go. We're not returning it, we're setting it. So that's this value. That is this value. Which those don't need their own separate things anymore. We're going to do parsed start, parsed end, like that. Okay, this is where we need that. Hey, that's a much better place for this to live. Over in the mapping extensions, yes. There we go. See, I was just saying I really didn't want that to be there. This makes so much more sense. Okay, so local start time is not that. It's view model local start time and view model dot local end time. There we go. So those are the strings. That wires up and that goes nicely. Okay, did this have a from that? No. So how were we wiring that up before? The time zone ID is not an editable property, but I probably, it's not going to be on the view model. I'm going to put it on the page model. That is a totally different thing. It's not going to be on the view model. So since we do not allow you to change it, it's not going to be there for now. We don't currently allow it to change, so should not be there. Day of week, ID, start time, end time. And this property, even if you change it, it shouldn't matter. Hey, S&B, welcome back. Let's see, Rambling Geek, hi. Yes, hi, welcome. So right now we're working on the DevStream site. So basically this is a site where we want to be able to put schedules of developer streamers. Speaking of, Will is asking what happened with Ed Charbonneau. He was streaming at a weird time yesterday. He was streaming like hours late, I noticed. So I didn't catch the stream, but I did see it. So I think there was one. You can probably check the videos section. Speaking of which, if you ever miss a DevChatter stream, you can actually check our videos section here on Twitch to catch the stream. All of our streams are recorded and they're there. And then we also put them over on YouTube, and I linked to our YouTube channel over there in the chat. Is that oh man. Enzo? Not sure, but welcome. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. And I apologize for butchering your name. Hype S&B. Simon, you take back your suggestions for AutoMapper since with that much custom mapping, you would end up with just as much code. Yes, exactly, Simon. Yeah. Hey, Swifty Spiffy. Hey, welcome. Haven't seen you in forever. It's awesome, awesome to see you're here. I hope you are doing well. It has been quite a while since I've seen you in the stream. Oh, you started a new job. That's really cool, Swifty. Spiffy? Swifty? I don't know which one, whether I should call you Spiffy or Swifty. But the full name is really long to say on the stream, so... Yeah, I thought you were in school, so glad you picked up the job. It's nice. Hopefully you have handed off a lot of the work maintaining your open source project to others so that you are not super held down by that. It takes a lot of time to maintain open source projects, so it's nice when you can get other people assisting with that. Oh, I modified all that stuff. I didn't actually use this new value. That's silly. I didn't actually tell it to use the new one, so hang on. So this is not actually done, so that didn't work. So where is the create one? Create start time view model. What sets these? So I want to go here and say local start time references. Someone sets this somewhere. That's where it parses it. Okay, so that just sets the initial values to some string values. We hard-coded to that. That's funny. I need to parse to that, which means that I can use... What the... Here's what I can get away with. I should, in my mapping extensions, have, there it is, the time pattern. Okay, so... Hang on, time pattern dot format becomes a string. Source local start time. There we go. Okay. So that'll format one into that time. There we go. And then this is just going to be end time instead of... Okay. So that ought to actually turn them into the strings using this simple pattern, which is a time zone-less pattern. This is a local start and end time, so we don't need anything more than that. I'm going to go ahead and build this. We're going to go ahead and try and run it. I don't know if this is going to build. We're about to find out. I may have left something incomplete. Seems I did not. Let's refresh this page. It should grab the data, display it. 1 to 3, perfect. All right, let's see if we can't change this time from 1 to say like 5 to 5 to 7. 5 to 7. Nice. Okay, cool. That did exactly what we needed it to. Elfin Slayer, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. I'll take that to mean you've been enjoying the stream. But that's cool. So we fixed the edit page. So the edit page does work. We're not done with it. We still need to... There's a couple of other things we need to do with it. We need to make it so that it actually modifies the created sessions when it happens. And I want to make it a little bit nicer. But it is now fixed. So first thing, I'm going to commit this change with the channel name adjusted. So clean up, create, schedule page, clean up namespaces. That's all I'm going to say. That's all that was. And then this is fix, edit, schedule page using view model. Okay. So we used a view model to fix that page. Let's see. I'm not doing a good job of that. The only thing I don't have to touch is the Unity and extensions portion. So someone else does the Unity. That's really good to hear, Swifty. What happens if you set a start time after the end time? Yeah, so we don't have... we will put some requirements on that, Swifty. Don't worry, we haven't messed with that one yet. But that is the plan. So make that actually user-friendly is a future thing. For now, we have developers setting it up, so I'm going to trust that the data that I put in this is going to be fairly accurate. And we'll probably put some basic restrictions, even if we don't make it super user-friendly right out the gate. But if there is someone that wants to go work on that, again, this is open source, so all the code is out on GitHub, so you can make little changes to this. I think it's going to be useful in the long run. There's a handful of things that we haven't wired together yet, like, for example, I want channels to be tied to a user account. So I want a user account to own a channel, so that we don't run into the problem of someone else modifying someone else's channel. So we're going to need some restrictions like that. And yes, Simon, I have a feeling that many developers have written the start date comes before the end date validation. It has got to be like one of the most common bits of validation that we all have to write in all of our applications all the time. Okay, so we got all that committed. Looks good. So I like the way that's coming along. We're sort of fixing some things, as I mentioned, because people will be like, hey, why didn't you do this? Well, step at a time. Always make the code a little bit better than when you started. You don't have to get it perfect out the gate. Speaking of which, I want to do... oops, not that. I want to do this right now while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to just do a quick namespace fix so that this happens on a separate commit from the other ones. So I'm just going through and I'm just doing a quick remove and sort the usings on these files, which some people don't like. I like doing it, especially in its own commit, so that it can be seen separately from the others. Okay. Let's see, did that fix them? Yeah, okay. So we got rid of a couple of those. Pages. Open these up. We're going to get these cleaned up. And I do like to do this by hand only because I like to review the results and make sure nothing weird happened. And if you do like a full project cleanup, I think you a lot of times will miss some of the things that happened. So I like to do a little manageable piece, just so I can see what the cleanup was. Okay, so that's just a sort. Okay. So those are all good. And then let's open these and do the same. Whoops, didn't mean to open that one. Do the same thing. The other nice thing is a big stack of usings is a good indicator that your file is doing too many things. And you'll notice in some of these, there's too much stuff happening. And the reason for that problem is we need to extract some of this code somewhere else. We haven't done that yet. We started off simply, we did the scaffolding, and it's got us a good starting point, but we need to pull some of this code out into other places. Remove unused using statements. Nice and clean. I'm going to fix our branch name and get that pushed up. What is going on here in the chat? You were thinking the other day, there's really long overdue for another jump in the level of language so we all get to write less repetitive plumbing. Yeah, Simon, there definitely could be some advances in how we do a lot of our programming. Came across code the other day with the usings inside the namespace. Oh yeah, you can do that. You can put the usings inside the namespace. I think it's weird. I don't like the look of it. I'm not, but it really just throws me off a little bit. Hey, welcome, Ryan. Greetings. Hopefully you're having a nice weekend. Hopefully everybody's having a nice weekend. Okay, so that should be changes up on here. As I mentioned, already in the stream. This code is out on GitHub, so feel as is like pretty much all the code that we do here on the stream. So feel free to send us pull requests for anything, like you know, nicing up any of the UI or continuing on with our change to view models. So if you want to get a little bit of practice in on that, or maybe do your first pull request on something, that is a great way to do things. Ryan, my weekend's been pretty good. I got so I took down my Christmas decorations out in the front yard and everything today. We had our son out there, so he was helping. So that's always fun. Let's see, we moved his slide inside, so we actually have a second floor in our garage, so we got it set up so he's got his little playground equipment inside the second floor of the garage. So even though we're in the cold season, he's now going to be able to, you know, go on a little swing and a slide. They're small, the garage isn't that big, but it's nice because there's a second floor, so it's like, oh yeah, we can have that there and we don't even have to lose any car space. So it's nice. I agree it looks weird on my team. I enforce a strict order of usings with code analysis rules to keep it consistent. I think it's very important to have consistent code. So I'm actually big on having some pretty strict standards for that kind of thing on teams. Yeah, Will. My cat is always helpful. No, the problem we've got is that my son has figured out that if you wave cat toys around, the cats attack them. So that's always fun. Okay, so this is fixing up schedule pages. Fixed the editing and deleting pages to fix the editing and deleting of schedule pages. There we go. Schedule pages, editing and deleting. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Simon. No. So that stuff will go back outside once it's warm, because I think he'd rather be on a swing and a sled out there. He's very little, so they can actually fit there. Okay. This is a nice big change, but I think it's a good one. I don't care about the branch name because I made a pull request that matters more than that. So we'll create that pull request. Looks good. And if anyone is interested, this project is out here. I don't think I've got a lot of information about contributing yet, but there's some details. I need to write up a document that talks about how you can contribute and how you can set up the project, but it's a pretty easy one. What is this? You're now breathing manually? Breathing manually? I don't know what you mean, Ryan. Breathing manually? Maybe I'm breathing weird on the stream. I don't know. Probably. Things I should make sure I mention. A couple of things. First off, if you're new here, welcome. If you want to contribute, feel free to talk in the chat or just hang out and watch. It's up to you. You don't have to chat if you don't want to. If you're interested in programming with us, you are welcome to join us here by sending us pull requests or just reviewing the code, anything like that. Everything we do here, as I said, is open source, so you can fork the projects and that sort of thing. There's license information on there with the commits as well. If you want to chat with me and the other developers here in the stream, one of the best ways to do that is to join our Discord. It is linked over there in the chat. And I was going to say, if you want to be sure that you catch our future streams, make sure you click that follow button so that you do get notified when we go live. As I have mentioned earlier in the stream, everything we do here is recorded and is on the video section here on Twitch, but they only keep it there for so long, so you can actually find our full archive over on YouTube. at youtube.com/c/devchatter, and that is linked over there, and I think there are links to all these things I mentioned down below as well. If you are watching this video on YouTube, hello person in the future, I hope it's really great. Other things I need to mention. So I mentioned that you can contribute on GitHub and things like that. I am going to be scheduling some new streams. So we're going to be doing some interesting stuff this year. We actually have streams scheduled for... our streams are usually on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Obviously, around the holidays, I missed a bunch of streams. I'm looking forward to getting right back into it. So we're going to do a whole bunch of streams coming up here, back into our regular schedule. So, Alexa, greetings. Sorry, everyone. Didn't mean to do that. Luckily, I didn't read your whole name. And hi. Sorry if I just activated everyone's devices in their house. That was not my intention. Let's see. Ryan said something that got nuked. Yeah, sorry. Our bot. We have a night bot that. Sorry, Ryan. We have a night bot that restricts based on links. New platform is being developed by a team of developers that centralize notifications for users. Oh, that's actually really kind of cool. That actually sounds really, really neat, Ryan. That's pretty good. Either way, other cool stuff. So people may not know it, but if you are interested, we do actually have DevChatter merchandise down in the section down below. There are links as well, links in the chat. So if you want to get cool stuff, we've got like mugs and stickers and other things like that. It's always good stuff. And I am going to be doing my Learn to Code stream again sometime soon. As I've mentioned before, I need to get it scheduled again. We did a couple of Learn to Code streams back in, was that December or November? November, December. So I need to get those scheduled again, and we can do some more of those. So if you are one of the newer programmers, you're either new to C# or new to programming in general, or you know someone that is, we do a series here, a recurring series, where we do some episodes that are specifically designed for beginner developers to follow along and either learn or improve their code. So that's one of the big things. And then I have a lot of pair programmers that I have been scheduling as guests on the stream, and many people that said, hey, let's figure something out once January comes around. It is January, so I am going to be reaching out to people and figuring out what fun stuff we can do at the beginning of this year. Either way, I think we are going to wrap up here for the day. We have everything committed. We've got a pull request created. And I want to make sure that I thank everyone for hanging out. I thought this was a really good stream. And we got some nice stuff done. Did a bit of refactoring. Reworked a couple of things. And Ryan, yes, you need to catch the stream earlier. We have notifications if you want to get them. That can help you out with that. Also, someone mentioned something about like a website that's in alpha that can handle notifications. That could let you know when the stream's going live. Where's my kappa button? I need like a kappa. There we go. Yeah. Oh, do I have to sign up on that Notify website to get you the notifications on there? I will check that out, Ryan, and we'll see about it, because that would actually be useful. And welcome. Hey Pi, welcome. I love Pi. And Var new user, I love your name, by the way. Thanks for that following, but thanks for that follow, much appreciated. I'm gonna roll some credits here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out today and chatting with me or just watching. Either way, we had a couple of moderators hanging out. The main one being S&B. So thanks S&B for hanging out and helping out today. And thank you to all of these fine people who were nice enough to follow us today. If you haven't clicked the follow button yet, I really do recommend it, because that's how you make sure that you catch these streams, so you're not showing up at the end of it. And yeah, Will, welcome. And yes, Orblocks98, yeah, we're 2.5 hours in. I am going to wrap the stream today. I can't go too long because I have some family stuff that I've got to take care of. But if you did miss the stream, it is recorded in the videos section, so you can catch that to see what we did today. But our next stream will be on Monday, so that's only 2 days away. So I will see everybody at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, and that should be good. Take care, Orblox. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's really great as always, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Take care.